And here we go. We are live with episode 2. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. Welcome, 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 everyone. And I'm going to actually invite you to make yourself feel comfortable as you can. The crazy thing about decoding the fear, let me make this a big screen. I think it is the biggest I can have. The second I started actually, because that's the download I received a few days ago, but this morning was strongly Eliza, and it's time to talk about what happened in March, April, and May 2020 in your life that made you so different than your whole environment. And I want to talk to you about decoding fear. And when I started creating a thumbnail, just by typing episode 2 of Inwards, I started feeling the fear consciousness bursting through and shaking through my chest, shaking through my heart center. And I choose consciously to stay sensitive. So I am experiencing those energies running through me. The thing with myself today, comparing to maybe 3, 5, 10 years ago, is that I'm no longer scared, afraid to feel the fear, be deeply in decoding process of fear the way I was in the past, because right now I fully know and understand I am so much more than it. So I wanted to share with you, because I bet there is a part in your life, in your past, or something that is happening maybe right now. And especially if you're watching this right now, this is not a coincidence. Some part of your life, some kind of fear that has its power over you. And my intention for this video is not only to connect in a spiritual way through this beautiful energy in this phenomenal platform, but also to help you understand what I did on my path to, at the time where I was facing the biggest fear of my life, what I actually did to no longer be a slave to it. And that helped me face another huge fear that we were experiencing just a month ago, 2 months ago, with our little puppy in intensive care unit in hospital in Tampa, in Florida. So you can use that knowledge, especially when it's put into practice, especially when it is actively practiced by you in your life, which is called wisdom. So I wanted to share with you, if you didn't watch episode 1 of Inwards, OMG, the feedback I'm receiving continuously, it's absolutely phenomenal. So do yourself a favor, go back to episode 1, watch this one also, share it with your tribes. Share it with your community, share it with your loved ones, share it with the strangers, whoever you believe it would benefit from this specific awareness, higher consciousness energy. And if you're entirely new over here, my name is Eliza Mozal. I am an energy healer, spiritual mentor, and I am passionate in helping others to heal their energy, which heals their life, and overcoming past trauma, past fear, and those things that they hold us in grip. So I wanted to share with you what I have experienced just over 2 years ago, which I know many people experience, meaning over 90% of the planet. Unfortunately, majority of these people is purely unaware to what actually they have experienced. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's just a different level of consciousness, which brings us different experience in this human form and different results in this lifetime. My deep desire at this stage of my journey 2 years ago was to keep on growing and expanding on my journey. And Lordy Lord, life has provided the opportunity. So, as many of you might remember, be aware, or heard it in the news or history books, whatever time or year you're watching this, in 2020, we went through a global pandemic, and in March and April, many places were going for the first time in a very long time or ever through a moments where there was nearly no food in the shops left, or definitely there was no toilet paper. I remember that. And people were actually told to stay home and don't leave, doesn't matter what, and many other things. You probably know the narrative around it. I wanted to share with you the decoding process of the fear, which is the most precious, the most priceless information and knowledge you can equip yourself with on this spiritual human journey ever. If your intention for yourself right now is to actually, let me maybe use the microphone, it will be probably better sound. I forgot to set it up before. I was doing a one-on-one healing session with a beautiful client of mine, and I wasn't using that. I've put that on the side. We had such an amazing energy. So decoding fear itself, it is and it will be extremely life-changing to you if your desire is to empower yourself, take more or all of your power back towards your beautiful sovereign heart. So at this time, my own desire was to grow and expand. It was to constantly stay as aware as I could possibly be. I was already very deep into Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations and many other meditations, my own meditations myself. I was already at this time into my healing practice. I was already aware on a really big level of the abilities that I have tapped into. Now, a little spoiler alert. Every one of us has these abilities. Every single one of us can tap into them. Those healing supernatural abilities are not, in my own opinion, in my own experience, they're not gift from anyone to me. They're not something someone can give me and then decide, I've changed my mind, I'm gonna take it back. No. These are natural / what we understand on a lower consciousness level, supernatural abilities, where we can, with an uttermost, is just do remote viewing. All of a sudden, I can see what's happening somewhere else on another side of the world where I have never been myself, right? Or I have never seen a video. I have an ability to open my heart to the level where divine higher frequency is bursting through, and it's opening the heart that it's in the front of me in the video screen on another side of the world, opens their heart and actually adjusting their whole systems back into divine order. Ability where me believing that my energy, my love moves mountains, triggers the whole tribe, and we all move mountains, manifesting miracles. And we only get together, let's say, once a month or once a week to join the energies and expand through it. And there is so much more through it. So I was already deep in my practice. I was already out there talking about it, sharing, giving my healing sessions. I was very deep into discovering other creator beings in my meditations, many other light beings, shapeshifters, lots. And then the reality of this 3D world hit in really fast. Now, there are things you don't know about me yet. Things like I was born and brought up in Poland, which means that I was born in October 81, which means that until I was, 5 or 7, there was still a communism over there, which for me as a child meant that every Saturday I am standing in a long queue, about a half mile long, as a little 5-year-old, 4-year-old, of 6-year-old, I'm standing in a long queue with a tiny slip that allows me to get only 1 kilogram of sugar. So I would stand there for about 4, sometimes 5 hours in this queue. Of course, bigger adults would push me constantly on the side, push themselves in the front of me, because as a child, of course, I would not fight them back, right? Or if I would even try, which I wasn't, probably I would not win. Survival, massive survival consciousness. So that's what it meant for me as a child. It meant that in the shops there is very little, if none, and I have to really go through extremes in order to get a little bit, and there is a big chance I will not get what is my right even to get, because there was a second time I was standing in that queue and people were pushing me back, and lady in the front of me got the last one, right? So I was standing all these other hours there in the queue, just something to be snipped away from in the front of me. So I was brought up in this deep fear from not having food. I went to bed hungry a few times through the consciousness I was brought up in, not because there was no food all around me, it because of the household I was in, and many other things. This is not about blaming, it's just to sketch the drawing for you. So when in 2020, March or April it was, I'm going into the shop for the first time since I was 7, I see 1/3 of the shelves is with a little bit of items left, and 2/3 of the shop that was Sainsbury in UK, in Scotland, is gone. The primal fear within me triggered, like an internal primal fear. This primal fear is within all of us. This is what we were born into. So when you did already some work on it, you will understand. And if you did a presence practice, if you did a being in your body, returning to your sacred vessel, returning to your temple, if you did renovations in your temple, right? Meaning energy work, energy cleansing, purifications, and diving deeper into energy blocks, not just to get rid of them, although at this time, my understanding was a lot about that, get rid of it, push it away, get it out of me, instead of diving deeper and see what is it, because it's a part of me and it might never go away, right? Doesn't mean that I have to stay a slave to its lower frequency. That was a game changer. So if that makes sense, guys, please let me know. I see some of you are watching, which is amazing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So when I enter the shops and I see what it's missing, majority is missing, the primal fear kicks in. I got whatever I could and needed and found. I got into the car and I allowed myself to feel full-on disconnection from the light. That's my puppies walking around. Full-on disconnection from the light, full-on disconnection from the source, full-on disconnection from the presence. It was such a primal internal fear and shake. You can call anxiety, you can call depression, you can call whatever you want to call it, but it's based on a primal fear. On a surface level, you might call an anxiety attack or a fear incident, right? On a deep level, it's a primate, it's in the root chakra. Root chakra is responsible for, not responsible, but associated with us receiving, believing that we are receiving what we want, need, and desire, our needs being fulfilled. So that's happening within me. I go into the car and I cannot feel connection. I'm trying to pray to get more clarity. Not pray begging, gimme, gimme, gimme. That's not the prayer I am using. The prayer I am using is please help me, which is I am tapping into the knowing. I'm tapping into the knowing. I'm tapping into the truth. I'm tapping into the wisdom knowing within me, which is more important than anyone can ever tell me in the news or face to face. And I cannot connect. I cannot connect. Why I cannot connect? Because I'm in such a primal fear that the only thing I can do is run, hide, or fight, right? Or fight. I'm not for that was not the moment for me. What I could do in the car, I run where? Hide. That's probably was closer to the hiding that I was doing. So I couldn't connect. I couldn't receive the light. I couldn't tap into the love frequency and higher knowing. All I could do is to stay in it. And I started noticing that automatically some part of me is trying to get me out of it and distract me. Is trying to get me to call my best friend and have a chat so she will help me calm down or gave me an idea or guidance. Then I could feel that pull towards, why don't you just turn on the news and start listening what they say or whatever. I could feel the pull there, but more powerful was what I've already was doing for a while, which was diving here. But I couldn't get to the heart's guidance because of this massive primal fear stored within me from my childhood that I didn't process yet because there was no opportunity. I processed as much as I could on a surface level. And then when we go into real life situations that they are here and now, that's the opportunity to go even deeper to deal with that which got blocked and stuck. Some fearful, blocked emotion that got trapped in the body. Now, if I would allow myself to be distracted and make everything I can to play myself in comfort zone, in some ease by running away from what's happening within me, I would create an environment for blocked, even more blocked energy. So that energy that was pressed and repressed from childhood that would added up to it. So it would create even more. And I know it was on the bottom of me. And I know the knowing within me that tells me that at some point there is a possibility that a specific growth would happen over there as a suppressed and repressed block of energy. If you know Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate, he's the best phenomenal. He's a total guru, kissing his hands entirely without placing him on pedestal, loving him to the bone. This beautiful man is the number one person to learn about trauma and healing trauma. So if you would like, go and research this beautiful man if you haven't so far yet, and do as much as you can with your own stuff if you feel called, especially if you are going through something like that. So I knew it back then that there is news a lot about some virus over there hiding behind a corner, trying to get someone, whoever isn't staying home or washing their hands, to get them and kill them, right? That were the news around there. I knew it within me something was not in alignment with all that message. It was not 90% not in alignment with the message. Yet I was still believing that there is something over there. There was some part of me that it was simply purely surrendered to it and obeyed it, right? Again, based on the past conditioning and giving my power away constantly throughout the years by believing that if the doctor says this, it's the fundamental truth and I should obey and surrender to it and listen and allow my body to manifest even more of it, what they say, right? So what I did was something at this time, something that changed my whole life entirely. And what I did is made the whole 2020 the best year of my life. And at this time, I was 38 years old. It made 2020 absolutely the best year in my whole existence. Not because I was off work and I was living in a beautiful garden, I could just bathe in nature and sun, and I was paid for not working and all of that. None of it. I still had to go to work, to the massive medical corporation that was not in alignment with me, working there and being surrounded by so much fear and trauma, triggered people who didn't process their energy at all. They were just lashing on one on another, many situations. We all do our best based on what we know and have right now. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then after work, I had to stand in a long queue for 2 or 3 hours to go and buy a toilet paper. Okay. And then I would go back home just to repeat the same thing over again, because this time when I was in that queue next to this shop, supermarket, toilet paper was gone. So repeating the same situations as my childhood, right? Manifesting the same. We so often manifest the same until we go to the root of it, until we go to the very, very bottom of it. That doesn't mean that the work you did so far is meaningless or it wasn't good enough. Not at all. It's just a deeper layer, deeper level. And thank God for these situations. If you can go to a point of thank God for the situation, because it allowed me to go deeper, because it allowed me to realize how much more magnificent I am as a human being, as a woman, as a spiritual being, as a man, as a older person, as a rocking, I don't know, teenager, whatever you want to call yourself. This is it. This is it. Because it truly is not about the end result and getting that thing we were chasing. It's all about who we are becoming along the way, because that becoming along the way creates it. It all starts from within, never outside. We always manifest from inside out, and we never get what we want. We never get what we want, that it is out there, always with this massive distance between me and it. We always get what we are actively being right now. So if I am fear, I'll be expressing more fear. I'll be manifesting more fear. That's what I'll be hooked on. So at this time, my mind was not hooked on it. But when I was not listening to the news, I was not listening to other people, I was very much not in alignment with it, yet I was at peace to as level as I could be, to just simply surrender and be at peace. And until that moment, when that primal fear kicked in, I realized that there is no way until that whole thing will finish. And I knew it. What if it will never finish? Right? What if it will never finish? What if this is the new reality and it will never finish? I knew that I cannot live my life at the level of the peace, deep peace that I desire to live, until I will go as deep as I can into that primal, blocked, stored fear within me. It didn't matter to me if it was just from my childhood, this life. It didn't matter for me if it came from hundreds and thousands of different years and lives I had on this planet or other planets with other primal fears stored within me. It didn't matter. All I knew it is that I've got to deal with what is it now. And all I knew is that I have to stay here within me in that dark fear energy for as long as it's needed. And I did it. I had no idea it's actually possible. I had no idea it's possible. And I did it. It took me, I was in a deep kind of, you could call it sadness. You could call it like a deep sadness, because it was a level of a layer of a deep sadness. But also there was a massive, extremely powerful presence and awareness, because that's what it required. So I was constantly aware what's going on within me. As soon distraction came in, because I turned on YouTube video or another podcast or this, I was turning it off and going there. It took me somewhere around 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't remember now exactly, to realize that I actually overcame it. But first, before I knew what I dive into, the deeper I was going here in that car, on this car park next to Sainsbury's, I was crying my guts out uncontrollably, screaming, shouting, crying my guts out. My whole system, my whole body was so deeply moved. My whole intestines, everything was so shaken to the core, physically, emotionally, energetically. And I started decoding that primal fear and what is the story within me, trapped within me, that makes me to hold the explosives. That whenever, because when I'm triggered, I'm the one who holds the explosives. It's no one else's fault. Oh, it's pandemic's fault, it's COVID's fault, it's news fault, it's the government, or it's this and that. No, I'm the one. I'm the one who's consciously taking responsibility for myself and who I am here and now in my adulthood, in my consciousness, as best as I can with the energies I have today. Yesterday, maybe it was much better, higher level of consciousness, higher energy. Or it could be entirely, totally the level of consciousness where I was like, huh? What's going on? Who am I? Right? So it could be different one. And both of it are equally magnificent. So when I started decoding the fear, it was scary and terrifying. I could feel myself shaking even more because everything within us, within our DNA, is coded to not go into fear or something that can bring fear. We have been conditioned to run away from it, hide, or fight, not facing it like that. No way. So what I was doing was breaking all of the ancestral programs at this moment. What is the primal fear? To not get food or shelter or water or the warmth, right? So now take away the food source, supermarket, and whatever it is on the shelf, take away from that. That's gonna trigger your fear. If you're not gonna deal with this fear and see what kind, it's like a root that has branches all over everywhere within you, right? That's the simplest way of explaining how I see energies and energy roots and those beliefs, how they are coded, because I am really, really, really good with decoding energies trapped within our system, that they've been trapped for centuries in these human bodies. And where was I? So going there, I had to realize where is it aligned. If you didn't dealt with it, that fear still has its power over you. And that's okay. But when it comes an opportunity in your life to look with it, you manifest something in your life, you're facing something in your life that shakes you to that core, this is the moment. This is the moment. All of your instincts are going to tell you no, run, hide, or fight. And you have to find a moment in between it all to self-regulate and go and do this work on your own or with the help. I don't care. You got to do the work. If you can do it on your own, amazing. If you cannot, hire whoever, anyone, the whole village, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. You've got to. If not, you will keep on walking with that massive root that has its power over you because you were too afraid to look at it and often facing it. That's what this whole video is about. That facing it, sitting at that table with it, you across with that fear and not leaving first. The fear always gonna live on its own first, right? Yeah. So I started realizing, okay, let's go there. Let's go. What am I afraid of? Okay, I am afraid of that I'm not gonna get enough of food. Okay, that's a fear. Is there food right now in your cupboards and in your shopping bags next to you and in the shop? Yes, there is some. There is some in my home, quite a lot actually. I love to have always some cans stored, extra pasta, blah, blah, blah. So it is there. Do you have electricity? Yes. Do you have warmth? Yes. Do you have shelter? Yes. Okay, so you're good. For how long? 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Is there still food some left on the shelves? Yes. Do I think or believe that there will be more? Yes, I do believe it. I do feel it. I have a knowing. Okay, but if it's not, I still have some. So, okay, so that fear is out of the shelf. I still feel that goes deeper. So let's go deeper. Okay, so now we're going deeper to this fear. Okay, so I'm still so afraid. So what am I afraid of? Okay, tuning into it, feeling. What am I afraid of? Oh, I'm afraid that I might get it what they talk about because they make it so scary and terrifying. Okay, and then I have, of course, instant knowing and reminder that I myself was warned about it. I was warned. I don't know about you guys, a lot of you is here in US. About 6 months before that happened, maybe even a year, there was a show, documentary series streamed in UK Netflix. And it was about Madeleine McCann, that 5-year-old girl that has a brown spot in her blue eyes that was taken away from her home, from their vacation home. The parents were just across the grass having a drink, the kids were sleeping, and someone took that little child away, and that was, I don't know, 15 years ago maybe. They never find out yet fully what happened. Where is the child? Is it still alive? What's going on? What's happening? So now this was the most documented, the most streamed case of abduction ever, of a disappearance of a human, a child. And that whole series about this case and what happened was about the power of media, the power of the word, and the power of misuse word. Because this whole case accused few of the people, and then they drop the accusations. Oh no, now we have a proof that there is no way that that person could be involved in any dark way. But that person is never washed away from that shame and guilt and from that dark energy. It's not. It's not. It is cast out forever from in that level of consciousness. So I was warned about the power of misuse word, and I was shown in this series. I seen it very clearly. I have a really good ability to decode fear and how to embody a belief, especially a false belief. So I was warned how the media can create something out of nothing, entirely fake story, entirely, thousands of them, how it's doing, how it's working, how it's gonna stream and show you what they want you to know and see, and how whatever it is there for you to see, it is not gonna be shown. There is another belief I have that it works for me for my greatest good, is that I'm not going to be watching what others are watching, but I will see a snippet. I will see and I will find out what I need to find out. Okay. So to not trash myself and my system with the information that it is not for me to consume. No more. Never, not again. No longer in this lifetime. So I was warned, so I knew it at watching TV, but still was some of me, okay, what if I'm going to get a disease? So I'm sitting in this car and I'm processing that primal fear that is going to change my life forever. And I am making sure I am not leaving. I'm not leaving the table. I'm sitting and I'm facing and I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper. What do I see? A fear that I might get it. And then something within me shakes so much and I can feel it. Okay, it is deeper. Okay, so I'm gonna get it. And what? And another fear comes in that it's exposed to me, to my awareness. It means no one would be able to come and help me, support me, nurture me, comfort me, or even bring me tablets or warm tea. Because I was in Scotland, all my family was in Poland, and you were not allowed to go in between houses. So my friends would not be able to come and help me and support me through it. Okay, so I touched on the primal fear, dying in a foreign country on my own from a disease that is pictured all over everywhere in the news as the most horrible thing you can possibly get. Okay, later on, what I found out is that just vitamin C and the exposure to the sun, and it's killing it. That's it. Later on, I found out what I needed to find out. But at this point, I was given a beautiful opportunity to believe in it on some level, so I can go as deep as it is possible and pull to the surface. shine the light on, enlighten myself and those energies within me to the truth, to the light. And this is what I realized. Oh my God, I'm just a human being right now. So I expanded in compassion. That's what I did. And I expanded in compassion consciousness, not to get rid of it, not to shape shift it, not to reject it, resist it, not to push it down. I just expanded in compassion towards myself, because that's what I was practicing in meditation and in between meditations in my workplace, where I didn't want it to be there any longer. And this is exactly what I tapped into. And I found out, okay, I'm just a human being, scared and terrified to die from some weird, foreign, unknown to me disease, unknown to me yet disease, away from my family or close ones. And that was it. And I touched on the primal fear I carried within me. And then I decided that there's no way I can be at peace ever again until I will make myself okay with that fear. Until, on an energy, physical, and emotional level, I am okay. I am fully and entirely at peace. I don't have to be happy with it, but okay and at peace with dying on my own from a foreign disease, in a foreign country, away from my family, away from my friends. It took me about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to fully internally, in all levels, be okay with that scenario. Okay? Is that scenario possible? Yes, it is possible. Can I make myself okay with it or run away from it because maybe it will happen, maybe not, or it is too uncomfortable to be with it? And that's what changed my whole life. Allowing myself to not get up from that table facing fear. And you know by now who left the table first. It was not me. It was not me. And guess what happened after? I've never, ever, ever in my whole life felt more empowered. Never in my whole life I felt lighter, physically, emotionally, energetically lighter. I tapped into even more of my supernatural abilities so deep, so fast. I had mystical experience after mystical experience. I went into such a high on my life that, oh my Lord, if not the gravity, that body would be flying so high if it's possible. Everything is possible. And that's changed my whole life because I kept on digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And there were times when on that high, I went far too high, forgetting about human experience and forgetting about, okay, let me process some more stuff that is coming up, right? About relationships and fear of loneliness and all of that, which I did process later on, a year later. But that's exactly what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you how decoding the fear consciousness is going to change your whole life. Because energetically, emotionally, you are going into the structure of your DNA and you are changing the expression of proteins within your body. Guess what happened after? I was so strongly guided to eat so many liquid meals like smoothies, bananas, spinach, constantly. My body got lighter and lighter and lighter. I started absorbing and being able to hold higher and higher and higher frequencies. And with time, I started learning to bridge the gap between human experience and that high frequency experience. I started learning to navigate through both of them, the biggest fear. And then 2 years later, myself and my beloved that I married, we're sitting in an intensive care and we're being delivered really scary news about our beloved puppy that we treat as our baby. It is our baby. It is our baby. Yeah. And I was able to guess, do what? Sit. Hi, Amit. Hi. I was able to sit with it, observe what's going on within me. Am I being now the fear consciousness itself, or am I allowing myself to experience the fear running through me? I was shocked how quickly I tapped into my heart, expanded my heart, opened my heart. 2 weeks later, that baby girl that it was not promised to live and survive the night is behaving like nothing ever happens. Stronger, healthier, wiser, heart coherence, heart coherence, heart coherence. Quickly, where is the fear? Not running into heart coherence away from the fear that it's blocked somewhere in the first center. No, both at the same time. Both, because we are multidimensional beings of light going in this human body. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you. If you have a fear right now in your life, just to realize one thing: it's either you're in charge or it. It cannot be both. You can experience and observe both yourself as a being of light and the fear running through you, which means you are not slave to it, but you cannot think, feel, behave from a fear frequency and be empowered. No, you're just a slave. And that's okay as well. I was the slave to my fear for 90% of my life. That's what I signed up for. That's what I signed up for. And then I received the news there is no more need for you to go through it. You will still feel it and experience it, but you don't have to ever again be a slave to it. Once you can see it, you cannot unsee it. And then you choose. As soon you can get yourself present and aware, you can choose. You can choose. That's what I call the true empowerment. No longer running away from your shadow, which we all have, from your trauma, which we all have, running away into higher levels of consciousness or into deeper levels of unconsciousness. It's just no longer running away from it. It's an aspect of you that sooner or later needs to be seen, felt, and heard. And if not now, then it will be on your deathbed. Trust me. I've seen it through so many lifetimes. Yeah. And I know you can do it because our body, like I shared in a previous video, in episode 1, the message from source, our body is designed to process all of it. It is designed to process all of it because we are not our bodies. We're so much more. But we need these bodies. Through these bodies, we are processing and shifting the consciousness of ourselves, our environment, and the whole planet. What am I being is radiating to the whole wide world constantly. Constantly. Please share with me how that message is landing in your heart. Thank you for joining me in this powerful episode 2 of Inwards. I'm so grateful to have you here with me. Please hit a like if that resonates with you, so more people can have access to this priceless information that helps us become the beings we came here to be. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you on another episode.